Okay.
We're just not live on YouTube for
Got it.
anyone who's public. So great. All right, now I'm going to make you co-host again so that if anything happens, we're just not live on YouTube for anyone who's public.
And I'm sorry, I just came in. Can you assign me to my, this is Janet Abrahams. Can you assign me to my room, please?
Sure. Folks are just in there like getting.
Oh, they're getting ready to come back? Okay.
Yeah.
They're about to come back.
So I'll stay here then. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, Iris, I gave you control back. You can close things whenever you told people you were going to close things.
Yeah. Let me just broadcast. We'll say 60 more seconds and then I'll close. Okay. We started a little bit later, so.
Got it.
All right, so welcome back. Great to see everybody. Again, it is Thursday, June 16th. This is the Trauma Informed Care Task Force. Really, really nice to be back with folks. I'm just going to put a quick article, Twitter tweet, which has an article in the chat, which is from our very own task force member, Fariha Waheed. Wrote a awesome blog post to the AFT, American Federation of Teachers, advocating for a trauma-informed approach to education. So if you get a chance, definitely check out this piece by Fariha, because it's great. All right, so with that, I wanted to hand it to my friend and colleague, Councilwoman Odette Ramos. As folks may or may not know, there was a really serious fire in Councilmember Ramos's district. A couple of houses burned, and also a pride flag. And I know that Councilwoman Ramos has been on the scene pretty much nonstop, helping to support the families and, try to figure out exactly what happened. So want to start tonight's meeting by just passing the mic to Odette to just share a little bit about that.
Thank you so much, Councilman. I really appreciate it. I appreciate taking a couple minutes just to give everybody an update on what's happening. As you probably know, there was a really horrific fire, actually down the street from me. I live on the 400 block of East 31st Street. The fire happened on the 300 block. It was 4 houses total that were damaged. There was one on the end of the block, that's, pretty well damaged. The one in the middle had a pride flag. There were 2 pride flag burned. So this one had a pride flag and then was burned really badly. And then the third one and the fourth one only had porch damage. Everybody is okay. Everyone got out safely. There were 3 of my neighbors taken to shock trauma, and 1 is still there, but he's going to be okay. He was the older gentleman who, because of his age and the fact that he is a smoker, they needed to make sure that he was going to breathe okay with all the smoke inhalation and get that stuff out of his lungs. And of course, we have the best healthcare in the world, so we were confident that he was going to be okay. All day yesterday, the ATF and the FBI were here along with the fire department to investigate the scene. Just so you know, the fire started around 4:30. I got there shortly after that. And I also got a notice at the same time. There was a dumpster fire a couple blocks away and a car fire on the 2900 block of Matthews. So there were 4 fires total that were happening all at the same time. So basically the entire fire department was in my district. And so right now we don't know if it was a hate crime. I know it feels like it. It really does. But right now we just don't know. We also don't know if the other fires were connected to this one, if it was just sort of random. We have the best in the business from ATF, from the federal government, helping us with this investigation. So I'm confident we're going to get to the bottom of it. It's just not going to happen right away. And that is part of the trauma here, is that this thing happened and we may not have closure right away. So it is tough, but we are a tough neighborhood. We have Able and Charles Village were the first neighborhoods in Baltimore that people that were LGBT really felt safe. We have so many of that community in our community. Everybody's part of the community. You will see pride flags on every house in the next couple of days, showing solidarity. And Pride Parade is in my district, and it is a couple of blocks away on the 25th at 1 o'clock. So if you want to come and show solidarity, we'd love to see you there. A lot of people have been jumping to the conclusion that it was a hate crime right away because of all of the events happening across the nation. And it's not out of the question. It's just we don't have conclusive evidence yet. So what we're trying to do here is just support the residents as much as possible, and support the neighbors. Everybody who was impacted has a place to live, which is great. And they all had homeowners insurance, which is good. So I think they'll be okay physically. As all of you know, being in the trauma work, this has been pretty bad. And there's the couple, the 2 gentlemen that live in the second house that was burned pretty badly, and they both went to the hospital. One is out. Brian, one of the owners, said to me, "Odette, you've got to make this stop." And so, we're working hard. We're in contact with ATF and everybody else. So if you have a pride flag, please fly it. Again, we don't know if it's a hate crime, but the community really needs support, and our community needs support, but we're also really good at supporting each other. The community association will be starting a GoFundMe page. So we'll make that available if anyone wants to help in that way. If there are other ways to help, we will certainly get that out to people. So I just thank you, Councilman, for giving me the opportunity to just talk a little bit about this. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. But just know also, I just got off of a meeting with with London, who's the new LGBT liaison for the mayor's office. And she's very conscious of the fact that, this is a big issue and is willing and ready to support. So anyway, just wanted to give you some updates. It is a tough time for us here. It's a tough time all over Baltimore. I mean, it's a tough time all over Baltimore. So our little corner of the world is going to be okay, but it's going to take a while.
No, thanks so much for that, Odette, and thanks for being there. I know, especially something really horrific like that can both be extremely traumatizing to the folks that go through it, and then also to the community, and frankly to you. Vicarious traumatization is real, and caregiver folks, council people, like, I think often absorb some of the pain that people are going through and don't necessarily have the vocabulary to express it, or I've just been on scenes of violence or murder in my district, and been among families, or after fires, and felt a sense of depression myself and loss, and not always had like the words for it, or like not really kind of known what I was totally going through. So I just want to say that, one, we appreciate you and you being there for the community, and two, if there's anything that we can do as a task force, if there's any kind of certainly mental health support that the folks there or anyone needs, let us know.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And honestly, if it turns out to be a hate crime, we're going to need another type of action. But I don't know what that's going to look like. And I don't want to speculate yet. So, but we hope to see everybody at Pride. I think it's going to be a wonderful event and a great way to show solidarity. But anyway, I appreciate the time. Just wanted to give folks an update. And if you or anybody might have any information, if you live in the area, if you have video or whatever, we're looking for any and all information. So thank you.
No, appreciate it. Thanks again. All right. So did want to give a quick opportunity. I know we have at least one new person on this call. So if I'm going to start by introducing or asking Akeem to introduce himself. And then anyone else that is new, if you could introduce yourself as well, and maybe just say, who you are, what you do, and, a couple sentences about yourself. You want to jump in there?
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Akeem Abioye. I am the Community Funding Coordinator at MONSE, so the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. So in that role, I support grant making and building community partnerships through that grant making. I'm largely focused on our ARPA funding, but I'm super excited to kind of be able to support you all on your I guess yours/MONSE's grant making for like the trauma training throughout the city. So that's why I am here. And I know there is at least one additional person on the line with me, because she's also from MONSE. So I'll just pass it on over to Ariel.
Thank you, Akeem. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ariel Pierce, and I'm the training coordinator within MONSE. As Akeem stated, we are very excited to be working on this with you all. I support all of our lanes within our agency regarding anything that has to do with training interagency and within the community. So really excited to see where we are and where we're headed.
Sorry about that. All right, great. Anyone else who is new? All right, great. We are super thrilled to have our new friends from Muncie with us. Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement has been a big supporter of this work from day one, has been a collaborator around ARPA and just sharing the philosophy that, until we address the root of violence and addiction, and until we honestly confront trauma, that we're going to stay trapped in cycles of violence and mass incarceration. And so I appreciate the work that y'all are doing, and really glad to have you both here with us tonight. I think with that, before we jump into our groups, Iris would be very disappointed in me if I did not say that we have an opportunity to do mental health first aid training. I want to lift up and thank Corey Witherspoon, who made this happen. And Iris is going to put in the chat a link to a survey. If folks are interested, if you'd like, it is free. And Corey, do you want to maybe say a few words about mental health first aid and why you feel like it's important?
Hey family, hey everybody. Mental health first aid is highly important. By the grace, I've been certified since I want to say 2016 as an adult component, and it has a youth component. Oh my goodness, it's been around for so long. It's first started off in Australia, and it spread on out to all corners of the world. I want to say 33 different countries. What it basically teaches is how to first assess a situation when you may encounter a person who may have a mental health challenge. And from there, it also teaches how to, get resources out to those who might be experiencing challenges. So why is it important? Because what we see in Baltimore is we have some people who are diagnosed with mental health challenges, and some people are not, right? And if we look through the lens of, okay, let's go ahead and help Baltimore instead of criticize or make some people feel ashamed for whatever they might be going through, it'll go ahead and make it a better way to, reach our citizen Baltimore and basically help them, do whatever they're going to, and also not to re-traumatize. All right, so that's the spiel. Like I said, I've been doing it for forever. You're going to learn about algae. You're going to learn about how to assess, how to give support, how to lend a listening ear, non-judgmentally, of course. And so you'll learn all this through algae. And I like I said, it's free. When I first had the train, I want to say I spent like $1,000, something like that. So when I found out it's free, I'm like, oh my goodness, let's get this out to the community. So this is a way to get this out to the community. All right, so I think I'm like a great salesman for it, but it really works well, and all organizations need it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you again, Corey, who definitely led the charge and hooked us up with this opportunity. I think, just another nice thing about mental health first aid is you do not have to be a clinician. You don't have to be certified, frankly, in anything. But folks can, just like you would learn how to administer first aid, physical health first aid, given where we are in the pandemic, given just the looming mental health crisis that we're seeing in Baltimore and across the country and really the world, I think this is just an awesome opportunity to further equip ourselves with some skills and tools to be able to support ourselves and our neighbors here in the city. So again, really appreciate Corey getting this opportunity for us, and definitely excited about it. Abby, do you want to share your event as well, the Nature and Nurtures Symposium?
Oh, thank you so much, Zeke. I really appreciate the opportunity. Before I jump into that, Corey, are you looking for us to share that survey with the general public, or are you trying to keep it within this group more so for now?
Hey, it's really up to I'm gonna defer to the councilman, however you want to go ahead and disseminate it. But you know, eventually it has to go out to the community, because what we're seeing is that, you know, a lot of organizations, they don't have the training. So what they're doing, they're re-traumatizing our citizens. And you know, with the stigmas that comes with mental health, you know, is setting them back even more. So, you know, eventually, yeah, we gotta go and get out to the community. But I'm gonna defer to Brother Zeke, and whatever he says, we'll rock with it.
So here's my thought on it, is that I think we keep it small for now, until we see like how many spots we fill. And then we circle back, and if it seems like there's more space for folks, then we can put it out to the public. Abby, if you've got like one or two people who you're like, this person needs to get mental health first aid, then I say, let's do it. But I think just like generally, you know, let's see who we can get before we put it out there to the public. And I would also say that there are several free trainings for folks that are being offered on the Healing City website. So check it out. Abby, go for it.
Thank you. Okay. So I've spoken to this group before about Baltimore Connecting Children to Nature, which is a partnership between the Office of Sustainability, the Rec and Parks Department, and various other agency and nonprofit partners. And one of our major goals in that initiative is to harness the power of nature for healing, because there is so much in terms of really strong evidence about the mental health benefits of spending time outdoors, especially for younger kids. So this is the third year we're doing a Nature Nurtures program. 2020 was a one-day in-person thing. Last year, we did a series of workshops over the summer. Now we're back to the one-day in-person model. So it's going to be a week from Saturday on the 25th. It is free, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the William S. Baer School in West Baltimore next to Coppin. They're a city public school that serves kids of all ages with severe disabilities. And we chose them in part because they have the most amazing outdoor spaces. They have this truly beautiful courtyard full of art and different types of gardens and a memorial space, and they just really prioritize that for their kids because they recognize the therapeutic power that it has. So the event will consist of, first of all, coffee and lunch for everybody. We're going to have a keynote speech from Atia Wells from Backyard Base Camp and Bliss Meadows Urban Farm. She recently won an international prize for connecting children to nature. So it'll be a conversation with her. Then we're going to break out into trauma-informed care and healing-centered engagement trainings. We recently got Mark Jews of this task force on board, as well as Kim Legree from the health department, who I think also recently joined the task force, and Dr. Bruce Purnell from the Black Mental Health Alliance. So we'll be covering slightly different topics in that vein. We'll break for lunch, and in the afternoon, there'll be a suite of really amazing workshops to choose from about connecting to nature. So you could go to something about composting or botanical art. We're going to have two different wonderful teenagers from the Healing Youth Alliance out, Charity and Denham, doing talks about storytelling and self-esteem. And there's a bunch of other stuff as well, but I've talked long enough. I'm going to put the link again in the chat. Right now, our major concern is just pushing it out to people. There's a lot going on that weekend. It's Pride, I'm well aware, but there's only so many weekends in the year. So if at all, you know, you can share it on your social media platforms or send it out to your constituents or contacts, we would really greatly appreciate it. Yeah, that's what I got. Oh, and everybody who registers will be invited to attend a sunset paddle with Recreation and Parks on the Middle Branch the evening before. So yeah, check it out. And if you want to share materials, flyers and whatnot, if you can come in person to table, great, we'd love to have you. But even if you can't, I can pick up materials from you or print them out myself if they'd be relevant to that audience. And I just put my email in the chat if you want to follow up with me about that. Okay, thank you again, Zeke.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Abby. Really exciting. All right. On that note, let's jump into the subcommittees. I'm going to start over with the policy crew and then probably head over to the medical crew. But I will see you all on the other side.
All right, folks, give me just 1 second to, I've got someone that's an iPhone that I need to assign. But otherwise, rooms are open and you should be able
That's
to
me.
see the group.
And it's me, Nika, on the
Oh, great.
iPhone.
Okay. I will send you with the policy group.
Hi, Anne.
Hi.
I know I always have, like, I never know what group I need to be in, but tonight I'm gonna go to the community training group first.
Okay.
Because of the RFP stuff, and then I'll head over to policy.
Okay. Sending
Thank
you
you.
the training now. All right, Ryan. Okay, and 2 Jasmines, just all I could hope for. I know. Give me 2 seconds. Monica is in the wrong group. I sent her a message. I assigned her and I could not figure out how to unassign her.
Hey, Monica.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. So I will need to jump off at 6:15,
Okay.
unfortunately. But I have my email almost ready to send it to Zeke, to Councilman Cohen, for the decolonizing group. And then just as an FYI, Jasmine and David and I met briefly earlier this week to talk about strategy to get things moving in terms of decolonization processes. So we are using our draft framework on the observatory that we proposed a while ago. And we will start like in the middle, trying to build a self-assessment tool or a self-assessment process for agencies to know where they are in the decolonizing understanding, I guess, if that makes sense. So David was very generous with some project that he's working on for our Baltimore. He is offering trainings, and he found that that could be a good opportunity for us to get something in place and like try to educate and to understand where we are in the decolonization processes, and also it will inform us about what are the best next steps to take if we want to have conversations about this. So David is gonna talk to his contacts at the Baltimore at the Office of Planning, and I promised to reach out to Councilman Cohen to help make the connection with the leadership of our Baltimore there, to have an intentional conversation about decolonization, or more, as we talked last time, is not decolonization, but more education about what colonization is, and if we're ready, or how we are perpetuating that, and how we can be intentional to decolonize our process. So I think that David is definitely a champion on that, and he will be incorporating some of these conversations in his trainings for storytelling for our Baltimore. But we thought that this could be a good opportunity to kind of pilot with an agency and and work it on an agency. So we're gonna work in two ends. One is with the pilot with the agency and like kind of get information, more like key informant process to understand where they are, what they're doing. And then at the same time, internally with the task force, we were going to ask sometime in our next meeting, probably early August, to have a conversation with the task force subcommittees about colonization and decolonization and see where we are. Because something Jasmine and David and I talked about is that even internally in our subcommittee, that was something that we had to reflect and think and learn ourselves. So we would like to see where the entire task force is and how can we build upon the infrastructure that we already have to work on our proposed framework. Jasmine, did I forget anything?
Sorry, the dog was barking. No, that was everything. I had a few. So one thing, I am putting together a PowerPoint for a symposium that I'm holding next week, and a part of it is colonization. And so I've been doing a lot of just research and finding a lot of good articles. In that, I was wondering if it would be possible, because the planning document that we have is like half planning doc, half brain dump. If we could, and I can take this on, just start a new one so that when we open up that document, it is, I don't want to lose what we have on the other one, but we need something that,
Yes, I agree. So I offered to start like a little outline for our presentation to the task force. And I was going to propose the same thing, like we need to have a clean document. So if you want to take on that up, though, I'll be happy. Yeah.
Yep, I can do that. And then I'll also kind of make a resource section so that there's articles and stuff in there as we start to do the outline for the PowerPoint for the task force. We can just familiarize ourselves with some of the concepts and the approaches that they had. Because one of the things that I struggled with in terms of feeling comfortable enough to go out and say this is a thing that I'm doing is differentiating between decolonization as it relates to physical land and decolonization as it relates to the processes, policies, systems that affect people. So I think presenting it from both of those sides and showing the difference between equity and inclusion and decolonization, it would be helpful for the rest of the task.
No, I agree. Yeah, it happened to me too, like trying to understand what is the perspective that we want to take on this, like where do we want to position in this huge topic? So just to confirm, Anne, do you think we can have some time available? Not in the next meeting for sure. I was thinking early August to present or talk to the task force members.
Yeah, so I can put you for sure, right? Like some weeks we have a DEI presentation and some weeks we don't have a DEI presentation. And so this could fill the block of a time when we don't have a DEI presentation scheduled. So let me get with Fariha. She and Mark and Colby have been working on the DEI presentation schedule, and I'll see if they already have one for the first week of August. I know we have one for the mid-July meeting. So the first August one would be the next available. And if not that one, for sure, the second one in August. So I know that one's probably further out than you want it to be, but I think that first one in August is probably open.
Yeah, I think that will work great, because then we can have a conversation and then Jasmine, David, and I can like come together, have a discussion about next steps, and we can plan something for early fall,
What's the date for that August? The first week of
The first Thursday in August.
So the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll be around. Perfect. All right. I feel like we are.
I think we have a plan and
Getting there.
lots of work to do. So
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start that document this week. Oh wait, it's Thursday. I'll have that document started between right now and the end of next week. And then I'll pop in, just ideas, research in an organized way.
yeah.
So we can
And
kind
Jeffrey, I'm happy to also make edits to if you're cleaning stuff to the framework, because I think we have talked and worked so much, but it's not really captured and documented there in the framework. So I can make edits to that as you create a new document.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. I don't know that I had anything more than that.
Yeah. It was good to connect the three of us with David last time, and it was a very fruitful conversation, very short and very productive,
Yeah,
I think.
very productive.
Yeah, I think the three of us are ready to keep moving. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also good with if this particular time doesn't work for David, doing that three of us meeting another time, like once a month or however often it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that model of if like this Thursday night, I feel like Monica often has things on Thursday night as well. If it's that you all want to move the community work time to a different night, we have no problem with that. We just don't necessarily want to ask people to be finding that work time. But if you all, we typically have DEI the first week of, or the first meeting of the month. But if looking at the agenda, you're like, we don't need to stay for that work time, that works on our end. We just want to provide time for committees to work that isn't an additional time. So if between the three of you, it's a different day, that isn't a problem.
Okay. Cool. I think
Yeah,
it definitely
worked. It definitely worked out because we were in contact via email. We found a time. We got together, we talked, and then we made some progress. And I really like to having this check-in now. It helps kind of like solidify what we talked about last time. So it was good. Yeah. Okay, friends, I think we have a plan and we will be in touch. So Anne, you're going to confirm if we can present in early August, right?
Yep. I'm going to confirm that with Fariha.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you very much, both of you. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hi, Kim. Do you want to go to another room?
Yes, I was just messaging you. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Policy,
you
please.
policy. All right.
I guess the meeting's over, so,
Yeah, I was gonna say, check your Slack.
okay, will do. See ya.